spirits of alcoholic strength by volume of 80% or more made from locally produced raw materials, 60% or shillings 1,500 per liter, whichever is higher. And C, that C1, that are locally produced or alcoholic strength by volume of less than 80%, 60% or Uganda shillings 1,700 per liter, whichever is higher. The justification, colleagues, in the current Excise Duty Act as amended, under nurtured spirits of alcoholic strength of by volume of 80% or more made from locally produced raw materials does not attract excise duty payable. In addition, providing a uniform excise of 80% or shillings 1,700 per liter, whichever is higher, on any other undernatured spirits that is imported or locally produced of alcoholic strengths by volume of less than 80% to apply to both imported and locally produced spirits is against the government's policy to promote local manufacturers by providing a reduced tax rate as a tax incentive for purposes of import substitution. In other words, we are differentiating between imported and locally produced materials to make more locally produced materials favorable. In conclusion, Chair and colleagues, in the circumstances, if the bill is not passed, government will raise revenue from undernatured spirits of alcoholic strength by volume of 80% or more made from locally produced raw materials. In addition, having same rates for both imported and locally produced spirits is a disincentive for local manufacturers and against government policy of import substitution. It is on this basis, therefore, that we propose to have these amendments done as soon as possible. Mr. Chair, on Bill number 1, excise duty, I submit. I now come to...
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I think the Minister, he has done a bill. We must deal with a bill by bill.
Are you proposing a procedure?
I want to propose a procedure that we deal a bill by what? By bill.
By bill.
The reason is this bill is different from the other bill which you may want to bring.
Come on.
And the reason I'm putting up here is because the Minister is justifying that we are going to rule in 80%. This bill was passed last year, so it has operated for 8 months. We are remaining with 4 months. The Minister would have come here to tell us, one, that this bill is talking about, so far the 8 months we have operated when we implemented it.
So the Honorable, Senior Honorable Nandala, I wanted us first agree on the approach, because I can see what you're saying, because I didn't want you to go and continue into a debate. But I want to build consensus. If that is the position of the colleagues, that we handle this bill first and dispose it off, then you can open the discussion. Okay? So, and in my opinion, indeed I can see the bill has one clause. We can have it discussed and dispose it off, and then we go to another one. Is that agreeable? Yes. Okay, it is supported. So, Honorable Minister, we are taking this procedural approach that we are going to discuss what you've just presented. Then after that, you can present the next bill. So I open up, and I will start with you, Honorable Nandala, since you already
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this bill was passed in last year. It started operating on 1st July 2024, and at that time we had what we call a collection order passed, which became, of course, effectively. So the minister was directed to collect, and he has been collecting. So the question number one is, he wants to amend, going forward or backward? That's number one. If it is going forward, then he should state clearly, the last 8 months he has operated, this is what he has realized because of the passing of this bill. And this is what I anticipated to have collected or to have generated if this has been implemented. So that the committee thinks through it quickly to make sure that the 4 months remaining, if we made an amendment, the minister will achieve what he's saying. But he's saying, so far we lose 80%. In my simple mathematics, it means every month he has been losing 10%. Because these are already 8 months. Yeah, because I think that's the simple math I can do. So if he has done that, what were you expected? What have you collected? And that's why that will be the purpose to justify why we should go there. And Mr. Chairman, if the minister justifies that, then we see no reason why we shouldn't amend. But if he has no figures to justify what it is saying, this is just literature. Me, I never did literature. I don't understand this. I just need.
Thank you, Honorable. Any other? Yes, Honorable Moses Ogwa.
Hello. Chair, just following what my colleague has mentioned, to me, let's look at the data of tax is one, but look at it in the level of growth, GDP growth, because you look at tax, but you must also look at the development. What are the things which have not developed because this tax was like this? If I give a hint, you have mentioned on manufactured. How has it affected the manufacturing so that you cause this change? And possibly you step down from not on the manufacturing, go a little bit in the chain to the possible farmers, if farmers are supposed to be part of this. And I would request, Chair, that this is simplified. We appreciate what is a nurtured spirit. Try and break it down so that we appreciate it. What are the raw materials? What are that for producing? So that I go very consistent in the issue of local, supporting local industries. And may I step in and ask, the President had talked of this industry is it Palisa or Bukedea or something like that? The one of cassava, that they should make a change. I've never seen that, Bukedea, that they should make a change to support farmers. Is it related? Because I have not seen that coming, and I'm seeing others coming, Mr. Minister.
Yes, I think those are from the local questions. You can hear members are concerned about the raw materials, talking about local content. How has it, in your research, how has it affected consumption of the local raw materials? This amendment, how will it help them in quantitative terms? Or rather, even then, in the tax collection part of it, what were the issues? How did you manage the last 8 months? But before we come to you, Honorable Vice Chairperson also has another concern.
I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for the presentation. I just want to look at it in a bigger picture. Of course, this is something we have always talked to, and I think this should address the Honorable Minister and the team, Mr. Kagwa's team, as you stated. We have always told you that when you come with these bills, you should come with something that informs your presentation. You know, we have always, in fact, this is the 4th session, and we are going to have that discussion with you again, that you must come with something well researched to inform your arguments. And this has and this we have talked for the past 3 sessions, and you haven't done. And you have clearly heard from our colleagues that what motivated this amendment or intention to amend. That's what we want to do. Then we talk of amounts, really empirically present to us these figures. Otherwise, your presentation will just be considered redundant. So, Honorable Minister, give us those empirical figures. And then, of course, the bigger picture about the economy. Thank you. So, Honorable Minister, you can.
Kagwa, please come in.
Thank you, Chair. Just clarity. I'm seeking for clarity on page 1 of the talking notes B. Reducing the proposed exercise duty rate of 100% or shillings 5,000 to 100% or shillings 2,500 per litre. Is it okay, or there is just B?
I think they will tell you, but I think there is some clerical error because it ends up in the same figure, 100%. So I looked at it.
Because the rate remains the same, but the absolute amounts are different. In B, I think there is some typo.
Thank you, Chair, and honorable members. As you can see, this is a very short bill, which is actually has only two parts. Just you talked about the provisional collection order. We no longer have the provisional collection order, so we only collect tax. Mr. Chairman, I want him to correct. I never said the provisional order. I said the moment you pass a law, we have given you to go and collect it. That's why I'm saying a collection order. Provision was those years of 4 months. Okay. Because you had said about something. You only no, I never said provision. Yes. I said the collection order. Yes. Huh? So the first one here was to, we realized that we still had a provision that was exempting undenatured spirits that are used in the manufacture of sanitizers for prevention of COVID. This was a COVID provision which had continued beyond the COVID period. So we thought it was really not necessary to continue having it. It was zero, and there has been some confusion in collections because someone comes and says, I'm still manufacturing sanitizers, though the sanitizers are no longer for COVID, because the law was very clear at that time, it was for COVID. So there are no more sanitizers just for COVID. People are still manufacturing sanitizers, and they were getting zero excise duty. So that exemption is the one that was being removed in A. In B, what we have been trying to do is to have a different rate for undenatured spirits that are made from locally produced raw materials, like maize.
Maybe Mr. Kagwa, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. Since there was also a question from colleagues that you give more details about the difference, denatured and denatured, and I'll propose you start with it so that as you continue to use it, it is understood.
Also, I think Moses is trying to dodge. Me, I was very clear. I said, you have spent 8 months. Before I even finish, you are saying I'm not going to answer your question. You are running away.
Just allow him.
Stop trying to intimidate me.
No.
Mr. Chairman, don't worry, we are your mates. That's why
Okay, I know maybe you're taking it at a joking level, but for us, we might not understand you. So we appreciate that cordial relationship you have, but I was sharing with my senior Nandela that let's give him time so that when he has not exhausted everything, that's when we can bring him back. Yes.
Thank you for protecting me, Honorable Chair. On spirits, I'm not going to go into the process of making, but you can have maize, you can have sugar cane, you can have millet, you can have cassava, you can have sorghum, and you make this spirit, which is alcohol. But this alcohol, some of it is not fit for consumption. Once you have made it, that is the so-called undenatured, because you have not broken it down to a level that can be consumed by people, the ones who drink spirits. So these are the ones from which you make the ready-to-drink spirits. Sir, is that clear? Thank you. These things when we are in ESC. So that's it. But now I was saying that on the second part, we are trying to create a lower rate of excise duty on this spirit that is local, which is made from local raw materials, from sorghum, from maize, from sugar cane, that are produced locally, to give an advantage to our businesses, and it helps the farmers, because when you're looking at our tenfold growth, we are talking about agro-industrialization, and one of the things, of course, is to add value to our agricultural products. So we add value to the maize, to the sorghum, to the sugar cane, by making them into undenatured spirits from which final products are produced. So when you look at how that contributes to GDP, it contributes, of course, to agriculture, because agriculture, we have about 24.5% of that. But industry is also now growing, contributing a lot to our GDP. When you look at it, industry is about 13%, and it's the fastest growing in the region. We have a fast growing industrial base because we are encouraging this value addition. So, and when we look at spirits generally, I'll talk about the undenatured. Because of this this lack of differential, last year we had collected about 68 billion in undenatured spirits. But what we have seen, there's been a drop because the local manufacturers were not being competitive, because they were paying the same rate with the spirit which was coming from out, and the manufacturers of spirits were happy to import from outside. So for the first 7 months, we have collected about 24.5 billion. So there's been a drop. And once we have this rectified, I think we should see more local production and the revenues will go up. And we are not doing it for just this year. We are doing it for the years to come, because we are correcting something that had gone, that had been put in the law for this year when it was passed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Even didn't present us. These are the results of the research that you don't undertake. Because if you had undertaken the research, surely these mishaps would have arisen. So we really implore you that the next tax proposals, you must come with thorough, empirical, and documented research so that we can be able to entertain you. Because otherwise, you will again come with this type of repetitions. Thank you.
Yes, I wanted first to invite my sister.
Just on his point.
Okay.
I don't know why you are not asking him whether now they have done it. Whether this was
them, and then you answer at once. And I had allowed Honorable Jane Avur Pachuto, unless he has substituted. Okay.
On the issue, if you have done the research, it will get a wrong situation. Because for me, I'm looking at a situation where I increase the consumption of the raw materials from the farmers, especially cassava, which I'm very passionate about. Why not 2,000?
Have to present a report to the entire parliament and the people of Uganda. Of course, his verbal explanation is we have understood, but how Chair would have wished that Mr. Kagwa and his team gives us a trend analysis of how what we already passed has impacted, so that we also have, even somebody coming to do the research that the Deputy Chair is asking from Parliament will find a well-documented, law supported by facts. And then, Chair, I think Mr. Kagwa has stated that we are not going to review this law only for the period for this financial year, even it will go forward to the other financial years. But Mr. Nandala, Honorable Nandala's question still rings a bell in my mind, because we've done more than half the financial year, and you've been implementing the law. So we want to know, are you now, what we are going to amend, will it be applied backwards, or it is only for the period left up to June? So that the business community out there know. For me personally, Chair, I think it is wrong economics. I don't know how it would have happened. It could have happened that we put the same tax rate for imports vis-a-vis the locally produced. Because I come from a cassava producing area, and we have a lot of supply. But because a lot has been produced, the price is so low. Probably when we adjust this will also benefit our people. And the ministry should take into consideration the President's directive that should also take effect as we review this loan. We don't do it, we review this, sorry, I also sit in the Committee of National Economy, so that we don't do things selectively and then back and forth. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister, did you still have a clarification?
Mr. Chair, before I clarify, they cannot deal with under excise. However, we want to bring it in the new proposals, which will be coming next month. Goli, that's not. There is a way we do our things. We shall
Honorable Moses, there were many other issues.
This is very pressing, Chair.
No, it is
that
okay.
statement which he has made.
We know it is campaign season.
You wait. It is not issues of campaign. It is not the issue of campaign. Chair. The people who grow cassava do it in seasons. If the product is not bought now, they will never plant again. You're waiting for July. July, they will have stopped planting. What will it help the farmers?
Okay.
Proposals should be based on research. I would request through Chair that let the ministry or the minister and his team present to us the research they have undertaken that has informed this proposal. I want you to tell us what you have collected. You have talked of 24, what you expect to collect in the next 2-3 months, and other requirements that will inform the thing in forms of research before we get into this. That will be my request.
Yeah, that's okay. However, if you have been not introducing new taxes, I just want to invite you to think around, if we are cleaning up, what is the research for cleaning up? Yes. What is the research needed?
Okay, let me just...
Something has failed to work, and we are cleaning.
Okay, what I'm telling you is this. Can you demonstrate that it has failed to work?
Like this one has failed to work?
No, that's just...
And we are...
That's just hold on, Honorable Minister.
We can do research where necessary.
Hold on, Honorable Minister.
But this year, we are not bringing any new proposal.
What we are saying,
cleaning
this maybe let me just guide you. Yes. You'll say, this area that we had expected. All right? And what has warranted this is this. And we also want actually the motivation from the stakeholders. You're not the only stakeholders. You're not the only stakeholders. You are just people who are stakeholders. We want to hear from them. That's the type of research I'm talking about. Otherwise, we might think that you just sat in your offices and came up with this. What is?
He had questions to answer. He said he had information. Please give it, and then.
As I said, what informed this presentation, why it was urgent, was first of all, when we came here with the bill, it had differential tax rates for undenatured spirits from local raw materials and undenatured spirits from imported raw materials. Parliament decided that as spirits, since this was alcohol, it should have one rate. And you put one rate. The result was that we affected domestic consumption. And we cannot sit there and let our companies close and our farmers not supplying to these companies. That's why we've come here. We are going to show you what has happened in the production of these local companies on undenatured spirits. That information we have. We have talked to them, and they're the ones who have appealed and said, please, we are going to die unless you do something to us, because the market is going to be taken over completely by imported undenatured spirits. That's why Minister, we came with this provision.
Yes, Honorable Minister, I would like to guide. Actually, this matter came to the knowledge of the committee. We were actually concerned that you delayed, because we noticed there was an error. We expected you to have come earlier. However, you've just said that you have to give us this information so that it becomes a case for build-up, to show us how it has affected. And I agree that indeed we are adjusting for the benefit of the local manufacturers and local raw material providers. So just help us with that information. And having said that, I would like to request that we go to the next bill.
Is it the table which has the amendment or the background? Because I've tried to align the background to the table. They are not telling at all.
Mr. Chair.
There is a background information.
Mr. Chair, we are looking at the rest. I can as well talk of CAF.
But your background is helping us to understand the bill.
What you refer to, Honorable Choma.
The amendment. So what do I take?
No,
Honorable Choma, if you accept my guidance, let us look at the bill that is being amended, and that's what the minister is saying. Because the other talking,
if it confuses a reader, totally different actually. It seems it was copied and pasted from somewhere and
is not really coming out clear to tell us. You see, I'm sure you're going to look for the information which should be here. I have seen you have come with your what has happened? Is it just a simple thing? You say, we expected to collect this and this, what we have got and whatever. And Mr. Chairman, I want to show you something. If you read A in the table, and I want to read it very carefully, that undenatured spirits of alcohol of strength volume of 80% or more from locally produced raw materials, it is 60% or 1,500. Now, that means if it is more of 80%, that means the price is even slightly what? Higher. Now, we'll go to the next one. They are locally produced of alcohol strength by volume of less than 80. That means even the cost is less, but 60%. Now, if you go to the table, I don't know how you align your things. The one which would collect more, you are saying 60% or 1,500. The one which has less value is 60% or 1,700. I fail to understand. You see, it would have been instead that this one of more maybe a higher rate of value, and this one of lower value has lower rate because it's locally manufactured. So I don't know who aligns these things in the Ministry of Finance.
There are two things that mostly we are trying to provide a lower rate for locally, for undenatured spirits made from local raw materials. These raw materials include sugarcane, include sorghum, include maize. Okay? So we are saying we are trying to encourage the manufacturers, the industry, to buy from our farmers, to help them also in research and development, to give them seedlings, to give them all these things. There is a price to pay for that. And that's why we are giving them a lower rate. Because if you put a higher rate, like we had put the same for both local and imported, they were not going to be competitive. And what has shown us that over the last 6 months, because we have 7 from July to December, the revenues that we had been expecting from local had gone down by 30% on a year-to-year basis. So we had already lost about 34.6 billion, which we should have got if the rates had been different. And that's what we are trying to correct. Going forward, for this year, we shall recover some of the money, and then we'll recover it in the later years. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Kagwa, I think see. One is talking about volume of 80 and above. The other one is talking of volume of 80 and below. He is asking you, why shouldn't it be the other way around when you come to the charges? But no, A is undenatured, which is the strength when you look at it, or more. This is something that is not ready to drink. Then the other ones that are locally produced of alcohol strength by volume of less than 80. It has gone some processing, and it's ready now for yes, that's the answer.
Consumption. That's
the answer. Actually, what you should have told him is the other one. Actually, this is what happens. I know this is very unfamiliar to you for obvious reasons. Actually, the first one which comes is actually 80 and above. Then when it has been processed, it goes to below 80. And that's why the charges are that way. That's what you should have actually told him.
Honorable Kagwa, is the honorable. He has been here for so many years. I want you to help me. This volume 80%, is it the toughness?
Yes.
Okay. If it is tough at 80%, that means it should be more expensive.
The other thing, Honorable Mafabi, the other thing, Honorable Mafabi, is that this is not consumable by human beings.
And it is the first one which comes. Actually, that's the most crude one. When you start preparing, it is the first one that comes out. Then you have to process it for human consumption. So you spend more on it than the other one. That's why it is vice versa.
I think we are done with that, Honorable colleagues, and it's understandable. Honorable Mr. Kagwa, who is moving on an unfamiliar ground, is getting steady. Honorable Minister, can you then present the second? Honorable Minister, we have said that information that you're giving us, we need it so that we attach it. And we need it by closure of business today. Thank you.